Hello humans, it's just Martine and welcome to a weekend reading vlog. If you don't know anything of what I'm reading right now, I highly encourage you to check out my last reading vlog from this week. Boop, boop, boop. Anyway, I'm going to get straight into it. It's 1:30 p.m. on Friday afternoon, and I still have a bunch of schoolwork, well, at least some schoolwork that I want to get done today, including some reading. But that's not why I started this vlog. I started this vlog because I had the brilliant idea to do a couple minutes of textbook reading and then a couple minutes of War and Peace reading and switch off like that until I finish my textbook chapter. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'll let you know how it goes. I got like 7 minutes into my textbook chapter, and then my sister knocked on my door with a much better offer to watch 17 again together. So I'm gonna go do that now. It's 6:41. I just finished that textbook reading that I was going to start earlier, and I'm going to say some of the things on my to-do list for today do not need to get done today. It's Friday evening, so I'm going to enjoy some time to read. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some War and Peace, and then I'm going to flip-flop a bit between other books. So I'd like to read about 100 pages of War and Peace. Again, my last vlog will explain what I mean by pages. So 100 pages of that, and then I'd like to make some progress in the bookshop on Autumn Lane, as well as In the Woods. Through the Woods? In the Woods? The book by Tana French that we're reading for Bailey's book club. We'll see. We'll see how I do. I'll let you know. It's 7:11 p.m. I just got to page 600. I started on like 525 of War and Peace, and now I'm going to spend a couple minutes reading In the Woods. I was correct about the title. I also wanted to say that I liked part 1 / book 1 a lot better in War and Peace than I'm enjoying part 2, so hopefully it comes back around. That's mainly because it went from like parlor, high society gossip and such to just men at war, and I don't care about that. I understand there's bound to be some of that. It's literally called War and Peace. There's bound to be some war, but still. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna read now. I just finished listening to the audiobook for The Subtle Art of Not Giving Enough by Mark Manson. I gave it 4 stars. It's a pretty good self-help book. Not necessarily standard, but gives you about the same feeling that reading a self-help book generally does. He had some really good points about like the meaning of life and defining success for yourself, which is something that I know that I need to work on. So that was good. Is that one of the books I'm reading for readathons or read-alongs this month? No. I just happen to be reading it. Kind of glad that's out of the way because now I can hopefully focus on other books. Not that any of the audiobooks I'd be listening to are the ones for the readathons and read-alongs, but I do have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue checked out on audiobooks, so that will be my next audiobook. I hope I love it like everyone else does. And that means that I've officially finished 44 books for this year. I'm at 85% of my goal. Good morning, it's Saturday morning, 10:40 a.m. Harris is about to roll into town to hang out with me for the day. Super exciting. I did several things this morning, mainly school related, but then I did read about 100 pages of War and Peace, so now I'm on page 755, so that's awesome. And my reading goal for the day is going to be finishing book 2 / part 2 of War and Peace, which is the end of the reading for this week, so that tomorrow I can start the reading for next week and also read other things. I'm unsure when that's going to happen because I'm planning on spending most of the day with Harris, so. Well, hello there. It's almost 6 p.m. I just finished eating dinner and showering. I had a lovely day with Harris today, just talking, driving around. We did go to a very socially distanced botanical fest for like 3 minutes, which I show you a clip of. We also literally walked down to the water and then walked back up, which is where the clip from the ocean was from. For the most part, we just talked and hung out, and it was really, really nice to see him. So I'm going to spend the evening chillaxing, a mix of watching YouTube and reading. Update, at least for right now, I'm going to watch Ryland's stream, which has a bunch of people, a bunch of my reading sprint friends, so I'm gonna do that. You can hear them in the background. Hello, lovelies. Okay, let's read. It's 7:30, and I just reached page 142 in the Woods, and when I started reading tonight, I was on page like 77 or something. Anyway, a couple things of note. from a forensic perspective in this book because it is a murder mystery, but it takes place in Ireland. And so right now I'm in a class called Legal Psychology, and we talk a lot about cases and what they mean for solving crimes and stuff like that. And it's really interesting because in this one scene, they picked up this guy who they suspected a little, and they brought him and they were like, you're not under arrest, but like you have to come with us, which sounds like it would be custody in the United States, but whatever. And then they started questioning him, and he just started talking, like answering their questions. And I was like, what is the right to remain silent like in Ireland? Because in the United States, I would advise that person to not talk to the police, not answer any of their questions, and instead invoke your right to remain silent. Of course, in Ireland, I looked it up, and apparently you have a right to remain silent to a certain point, but also physical silence can be used against you, which is also true in the United States. In the United States, you have to say, I am invoking my right to remain silent. Just sitting there silently, they'll use that against you in court. So anyway, it's the same in Ireland, and then there are also some certain cases where you don't have that right. Anyway, interesting stuff, but in the United States, even if you're innocent, even if you're telling the truth, don't tell the police anything, they will use it against you. So that's one note. And then also, in this book, missing persons waits 24 hours before putting out an alert that there is a missing child of any kind, or like spreading the word to help and try and find her. That used to be the case in the US, especially because they presumed that this child was a runaway at first. That used to be a huge thing. Up to like 48 hours they would wait before they put out an alert, but I forget what case it was that changed it, but basically now, if there's a missing child that's reported, the police have to put it through the system immediately in the United States. So just interesting thinking of the differences of how a story like this would have worked in the United States versus Ireland. I don't know. It's intriguing to me. And now I think I'm going to read War and Peace for the rest of the night. I've made good progress in this. It's 8:45 p.m. I just managed to finish book 2 or part 2. They split it up different ways in different editions of the book of War and Peace. So my page 889. I didn't like the second book as much, but I thought the ending was interesting, and I took a peek at the first page of book 3, and I'm pretty sure we go back to the interesting parts, just like the parlor gossip and stuff versus wars and battles. I want to be back at the peace instead of at the war. This eye is starting to bother me again. Any other reading I do tonight will be for my Breezy Hollow book, The Bookshop on Autumn Lane, which I need to pick up the pace for. Between the Buzzwordathon this past week and then reading this for an upcoming book club next week, it's just, there's so many books to read, so little time. I probably won't update you again until tomorrow. Good night. It's Sunday morning, almost 9 a.m. Whoa, my hair was interesting there for a second. And after I got ready this morning, I read some in the woods, and now I'm on page 174 of my copy, so I'm gonna put a pause on that for a bit and work on making some serious progress in the bookshop on Autumn Lane because I haven't finished a single Breezy Hollow Readathon book. We'll see what we can get done today. It's almost 10 a.m. and I just hit 50% of the bookshop on Autumn Lane, and I have to say, I understand that the main male character wasn't entirely truthful about his initial reasons for being interested in the bookshop. However, I also truly believe that Trudy is overreacting big time. Big time overreaction. So this guy came to look for a manuscript, and he didn't tell you that, but instead he's been helping you try to get a better price for a bookshop that you just wanted to get rid of when you really need the money. I'm so confused. Like, be a little mad, right? He lied to your face. However, you're making him seem like the worst person alive ever. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to spend the second half of the book. She got invested in feelings and they got together a little too fast. Now there's this huge overreaction, but like that is clearly a huge part of the plot. Only at the 50% mark. I don't really know what's going on. The book is fine so far, but the last chapter made me cringe so hard with them fighting about it. Well, him trying to explain and her yelling at him and throwing books at his head. That's fine. It's 11:35. I just had lunch. I have a little Coca-Cola sitting next to me. I'm going to read some bookshop on Autumn Lane before my family call at 12. Whoop whoop. It's 1:16 p.m. I just reached the 75% mark of the bookshop on Autumn Lane. At around the 70% mark, there was a scene I viscerally disagreed with the existence of, frankly, but such is life. There are plenty of other interesting things happening in the book, so I could just brush that off and focus on literally everything else. Did you just hear my fridge turn on? That's fun. But I'm going to take a bit of a break now and watch some YouTube and let my phone charge because I've been reading on my phone. So, and I definitely think that I'll be able to finish this book today, which is awesome. Yeah, it's weird. After the middle part where like she overreacted, it kind of turned into enemies to lovers for like a brief 25% of the book there moment. Now everything is settled again, and now it's kind of seeming like it might turn into a light mystery. It's kind of all over the place, but I'm enjoying it well enough. 3 stars for me, except that one scene, which I hated so much. I'll check back in with you later. It's almost 2 o'clock, watching some sprints for the BTS readathon, which I'm not participating in, but like great channels involved, so I'm going to sit here for some of the reading sprints and hopefully get some reading done. It's 2:30 p.m. and I just finished the bookshop on Autumn Lane. I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Overall, it was like a fun book. I wouldn't say that the romance was my favorite. Like, I appreciated the characters together, but just everything else the characters were going through was significantly more interesting than their feelings for one another, in my opinion. But luckily, all those other subplots got a lot of page time, so that's good. And now I'm probably going to take a bit of a break before I do any more reading because this was my main reading goal for the day, so I'm super excited about that. I read like half of it today. That's dope. All right, it's reaching the end of Sunday night for me, and originally I was going to sit down to get more reading done, but then I ended up doing writing, which I wanted to get done, so it's good that I did that because I was going to put it off. I did that, and I cleaned up my inbox for the first time in like a year. One of 3 of my inboxes, so like not perfect, but it still feels like a huge relief. It was crazy. I basically relived this whole year. Wild. I read like 30 pages of War and Peace earlier. I might read more of that before I go to sleep, but I just wanted to finish out this video. If you watched up till now, comment a green heart down below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below. Do you read more on weekdays or the weekend? Like, do you get more reading done during the week or on the weekend? I don't know, some people only read on their commutes or something, so it's possible. It's possible it could happen. Also 5 days versus 2, so you know, math, probability is. And subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!